as I do. And each has a place, as I do, in our world. Perhaps it's a little too easy to think in generalizations, to see the world as a nameless, faceless crowd of people. And then it becomes just a little too easy to be harsh, judgmental, intolerant. But when I think of our world as a planet full of beautiful, creative individuals, it's so much easier to have an attitude of good wishes, pure feelings for those with whom I share this planet. When I think of my own personal relationships, the circle is quite small. But when I consider that each individual has a circle of relationships, it's easy to imagine how they all interconnect. One large family of individuals. This is my relationship to our world. And in the form of a beautiful light, I send my good wishes to each individual. Shanti.
So, welcome everyone. So I just wonder, how was your week? Like, did you manage to meditate? And do you have any questions about what we have covered so far on the cycle, the tree? Anyone like to say something?
I went back over the World Drama Cycle because I missed that class. And I found it really interesting. And it makes sense that coming from a background with no religious aspect to it and like a background in science, I actually found it kind of really easy to go from something really scientific to something really spiritual because it seemed quite natural in a way. Yeah, so I think when I connect it in that way, I find it easy to understand. But yeah, it's quite a beautiful concept, I think, really. Yeah.
How about the others? Like, what was your experience of the week with your meditation? You don't have any comments or any question about the cycle retreat?
Yes, I don't have any questions about the cycle retreat. In terms of the meditation, I've been doing meditation every morning. Haven't been as good in the evening, unfortunately, but I can see the benefit of doing that. And yeah, I'm sort of saying it to myself to say, all right, because it will be a lovely way to, I suppose, contemplate what's happened during the day and look at not in a blaming way, but just in a gentle way. Just say, okay, well, these are things that went well, and maybe I got a little bit impatient there, and that's something I'm going to look at and keep working on. So just to be gentle. But yeah, I've been doing the morning meditation, and that certainly sets up a fantastic frame all day because that influences my
So when I was working, it was kind of like a bit of a challenge for the evening meditation. But because we have the benefit of living in the center, so like we have a very structured timetable as such. But I must admit, I would be very tired when I reached the center. So usually I would like have a shower. If I could manage, I would have a little rest before I meditate in the evening. Then I get fresh for the evening meditation. And sometimes, yeah, we may run out of time, but it's also important to meditate for at least for a few minutes just before we retire to bed, because if we have the evening meditation, then it's the time to check our chart, if we put it that way, just to see what has happened during the day, etc., what I could do to improve myself, and give myself a pat on the back if I've met some challenges and maintained my stage. That's the important thing. But the most important thing is just before I lose consciousness, if I put it that way. It's really important to link with God, because the minute that we kind of if I remind myself that, I'm Baba's child, and go through and appreciate the self and being grateful for the day, then we sleep in that soul consciousness, and when we wake up, you could tell the difference, right? And the first thing that we do when we wake up also is to say good morning to Baba, say good morning to the Supreme Soul, and also reconfirm myself who I am. I'm that sparkling jewel, and I'm ready to start the day with some meditation. Yeah. And Bro, have you got any comments or anything that you'd like to share about the week? No. Okay. All right. Okay. And how about Melinda? You all right for the week?
Yes, hello May, hello everybody. I was fortunate that this week I was up at the centre twice, once on Wednesday evening for the community meditation, and then on Thursday for the Mirror of Peace Day workshop. So I was very fortunate to have those lovely experiences. But I've missed the last two morning Merlies, which is something that just got a change in location at the moment, and it's a little bit more challenging and difficult. But I've been very fortunate to be at the centre last week, which was lovely. And I was actually online. I've been online for a lot of the online events, and particularly the Denise Lawrence internal balancing talk was actually, I found, one of the most grounding, profound, logical, accessible presentations in the BKs. So I do want to listen to it again, because I found that on the weekend absolutely incredibly grounding and satisfying and sensible and wonderful. So that helped me enormously.
Yeah, Denise is a wonderful teacher. She's so experienced. Yeah. And so for the others who may not be aware, so we have lots of talks on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, you search for the Brahma Kumaris, or type in Brahma Kumaris, there will just be a whole list. Yeah. So for the Brahma Kumaris, it's mainly the Australian ones. And if you type in Brahma Kumaris, you get international. Yeah. And how about Melissa? Hi, Melissa.
Hi. I'm still about halfway. I'm about halfway through last week's video.
Right.
So I'm waiting to kind of watch that, but my week was pretty good.
Yeah. I think just do what we can. Sometimes we do need to adjust the timetable a little bit, but no matter what time we wake up in the morning, just if possible spend, if we can, 10 minutes, or just spend some time. But anyway, you see the benefit, and then you will make adjustments. Okay. So if you are okay so far with the cycle and the tree, so what we'll do today, we'll get on to the topic for today, which is on our spiritual lifestyle. So we have this slide here. What supports a spiritual lifestyle and what could get in the way? So we see this beautiful chair, very ornate, very royal chair. And the other one here is a broken one. So what do you think supports a spiritual lifestyle and what could get in the way? Would anyone like to share something?
I think if we allow negativity, so whether that's from media or from the news or even people around us, if we allow that to influence us, I think that becomes an obstacle.
Yeah. So we just have to, in a way, we need to protect ourselves from that negativity. Yep. And anyone else would like to share something?
Good thoughts, like not having bad thoughts about people or negative karma.
Right. Positive thoughts.
I think what we take into our bodies, what we eat, what we drink.
Yes, indeed, because we are what we eat, so it would definitely have an impact on us. Yeah.
The way we treat others,
The way we treat
the way we treat ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Ourselves and others.
Okay, so what we eat and drink, this is the physical input that we put in. And how about our spiritual input?
Our meditation.
Right. Meditation.
Our connection to the Supreme.
So yes, the meditation definitely help us with connecting with the Supreme, because that's when we have yoga, that union with the Supreme. And what else would help us with connecting with the Supreme?
I was thinking like connecting on a regular basis. So we're talking about morning and evening, but also during the day.
Yeah. So
regular connection.
okay. So that practice perhaps, or what would help us with that connection? Just some tools that could help us. Because when we are doing something, we may not be body conscious, but we could be action conscious while we are doing that.
When we're soul conscious.
Right, yeah, so that practice of soul consciousness. And what would help us during the day as well? Get soul conscious practice, and part of that practice could be like every hour what we do. That traffic control. Okay. Anything else that you can think of?
I guess for me, May, it just happened last week. It was lovely to meet other people that I'd only met online, and then to meet them in person was such a lovely experience. So that feeling of being connected with other souls and other people, and whether we're online, in person, or both, that connection, I think, is really, with those shared, I guess, beliefs and developing and understanding together, and talking about, you know, how we're managing the knowledge and what bits kind of work and what bits we're not so familiar with, but just having that conversation and that connection, I think is that it helps me and is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess in you know, my other context, I guess it's kind of called just peer learning, and getting a really realistic picture of all, you know, these bits I kind of can't get a handle on, or just of how they're engaging with the knowledge and how they're kind of sifting it and filtering it and managing it and then putting it into their daily lives. I find that quite joyous and helpful.
Yeah. Well, we have the benefit these days of online, so things get easier. But when we started, we actually do our best to go to the centers. Like when I started, I used to go to, we had the main center at that time at Ashfield. So I was lucky in a way because where I lived, it was about 20 minutes drive in the morning, like at 5:30 to go to the center. And then when Merly finished, because in those days we don't have online Merly. So either you go to the center or otherwise you get posted a copy of the Merly. And because there's no online Merlys, all those things. So, and then going back, it was half an hour, and then I could still manage to have breakfast and then and then went to work. So I was lucky in that way. But these days, traffic is also a concern. And so we're really blessed that we have, you know, now we have online learning, so makes it easier. But there's always, you know, the plus and the minus. The minus is even though we connected that way, sometimes it's really, really beneficial to have face-to-face conversations as well. Does make a difference. Yeah. So what we encourage souls to do is, where possible, to go to a center or at least once a week, and that just keep that connection. Yeah. But we'll go into all those into more details in a little while. Yeah. So You got anything else that you would like to add to what supports the spiritual lifestyle?
Listening to the Merlies.
Yeah, listening to the Merlies, which...
Or
yes.
reading the Merlies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what do you think could get in the way?
Sorry, was the question what gets in the way?
Yeah. What gets in the way of a spiritual lifestyle?
I think we have to be careful about who or what influences us, or what we, I don't know, what we take on board our lives and our thinking.
Because there's so much negativity around. It's really my choice what to take in. Yeah. And as a practice, we actually don't watch a lot of TV ourselves. We do need to get connected, but like it's my choice how much I get connected, or in terms of I mean being updated, but how much do I get myself updated in terms of news and in terms of all the things that's happening, and because like how much am I connected to the what we call the old world, and how much am I focusing on reaching to the new world, and in a little while we'll talk about how to maintain that balance. Yeah. So yeah, how much influence that I get, how much negative influence am I absorbing myself with? Am I protecting myself? And how do I protect myself? What else do you think could get in the way?
Maybe your day-to-day lifestyle, say work, and I guess that comes back to your influences, and also your negative and wasteful thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe where you spend your time.
Exactly. Yeah. How much time we spend on just now about on the news, on TV, on the internet. Yeah. And how much time do I spend on my spiritual progress? Reading something spiritual, watching something spiritual. Yeah. It's all my choice. Sometimes it's very sweet and entertaining to watch, all these entertaining programs on TV or on YouTube or wherever in the media. But how much am I taking benefit from? Yeah. So, anything else in your experience that could get in the way of us moving into a spiritual lifestyle?
I think sometimes being too hard on ourselves or becoming disheartened.
Yeah. So a few mornings, actually I was going to read the blessing, today's blessing, in a little while. It's all about having mercy on the self, being kind to the self, being gentle to the self. And the reason why we listen to the Murli or we study the Murli early in the morning is to, set our day. Because the Murli, there's always a positive tone, especially when Baba starts the Murli with sweet children. And we always end the Murli with a blessing and a slogan for the day. So, and during the day, we just focus on those Murli points. And then that would help us get deeper into the understanding. And like sometimes a good practice is also that this could be further down the track, because I always remember this story. Sister Mira, she's from Malaysia, and she's a very, very good teacher. And one of her, I was very, very early in starting as a BK, and I remember she said one time she was asked, like last minute, or a teacher was supposed to come and and present an evening talk, and that teacher wasn't available at the last minute, so she was asked to do it like last minute, and she was not prepared. She was new herself at that time, so and the lesson that she learned was, and she was so systematic in her approach. Every day she would prepare a class for herself from then on. And so whether the class is being used or not, at least she's the one who's taking the full benefit. Yeah, so we may not be able to prepare a class every day, but at least have something that I'm churning on that. And a lot of times, a few times, like we see, one of our senior teachers is supposed to be ready to be on the gadi, and then they were called last minute to do something. And just to fill in that gap, maybe even for 5 minutes, someone will be asked last minute to fill in that time, so that we have something available, to share, something like that. Okay, so maybe would you have any other concern about what could get in the way of a spiritual lifestyle? Brooke, would you like to say something? Have you got anything that you'd like to share?
I would just say, like, your family members.
So?
Your family members, because
Family members.
if they aren't living a spiritual lifestyle, I mean, this might be like a bad influence in a sense, because they'd be like, hey, why are you doing that? Or, so you have the tendency to conform to the people in your surroundings. So it could be a distraction, your family.
Yeah, that's also very true. Yeah. And the way we see it is, instead of seeing them perhaps as an obstacle, we could see that it may be a way for me to share this spiritual knowledge with them, but we have to do it in a very tactful way. Or otherwise, another way to see it is, okay, well, it's actually the more I present myself, sometimes it's just, it may take time, it may take a lot of time for them to accept our style, our living style, but it just makes me more to be more alert, to see, like, if I keep myself light, and then eventually they will see the change, and that could be helpful in that way. Yeah. And we have heard many stories of how family members could be an obstacle in the way. For myself, I'm quite lucky because, most of my family members are in Hong Kong, and I'm the only one like here. So in that way, I have that, freedom. Although at the beginning, when I became a BK, most of my family members actually came out to Australia to check me out. That's enough to say, that they are concerned about, how I'm wearing white, because the first time I went to India, I went to Hong Kong, and I made the mistake that I wore white, and when they met me at the airport, they were very concerned. Oh, has she joined a cult or something? So, but then when they see that positive change in us, gradually they will start to ask questions. Like when I went through a major illness, and one of my sisters came out to visit me, and then I said to her, "Oh, I'm going to the retreat center this weekend." I wasn't actually inviting her. I'm just mentioning that to her, and she said, "Oh, she would like to come to learn to meditate." So instead of you know uh, asking her, I deliberately left that gap for her to, whether she would like to take it on board or not. I left it up to her. Yeah. So anything else that you think could be in the way?
Making the time.
Making time, yeah. I think, and how do you think, or how would the others think how we could make time? Because like for now, there's so much automation, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on certain things. But it seems that time is running short, less and less as well. Like, it seems to be a paradox. So how do we solve this problem about time?
I feel like it's a mindset more than anything. I work from home, so I don't have to travel to go to work anymore. But I seem to have less time to get to work. And I think I think routine is the one thing for me that has made it easier for me to make sure that I can meditate and do certain things and be at work on time in my own house. So I think, I don't know, that's for me a way to make sure it's included, like brushing your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's very true. So I think also when we talk about the law of karma, we also mention our relationship with time. Yeah, sometimes when we respect time, then we get more time. And the way to respect time is like, how do I make time? How do I use time in a worthwhile way? Yeah, so what Heidi mentioned about, creating a timetable, that's very useful. And also, I think it also depends a lot on our discipline as well. Because when I set my time to do something, then that would happen. If I don't set a time, then time never seems to come. Like, I could say to myself, oh, I'll meditate when I have time. But then that time may never come. But if I say to myself, okay, I'm going to meditate each day in the morning and in the evening, like evening, I set 7 to 7:30 for my meditation, then the time will come. It's, yeah, it's also when we have that vision, on setting the goal. And that's why it is also so important, just bringing back to the cycle, that when we meditate, that we spin the cycle, like we go through the cycle and really always keep the aim of going to the golden age, and we create those golden age feelings even now. Like physically, we're not in the golden age at the moment, but I could create that golden age atmosphere and vibration and consciousness. So let's have a look. Okay, so we have what we call the 4 pillars and the 4 subjects. So the 4 pillars is really to help us balance a spiritual lifestyle. Yeah. So a good company. So just now, I think Belinda mentioned about it was so good to have face-to-face conversations or online conversations with others. So yeah, like-minded company is very, very helpful, that we share our spiritual life, our ups and downs. That's very, very helpful. And of course, the best company is the company of the Supreme as well. Yeah, really having the Supreme as my constant companion. Yeah. And the second thing about pure diet, yeah, that was also covered when the suggestion about what we eat and drink. So you may know that we follow a vegetarian diet. And what do you think are the reasons for us to follow a vegetarian diet? Why vegetarian?
Is it to do with karma and animals?
Yeah, non-violence and karma. Yeah. So it was a little bit of a challenge for me when I started. I wasn't a vegetarian, and being a Chinese, we eat everything and anything. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, but I think the change came gradually, and we may want to start small. May I ask, just out of interest, how many of you are vegetarian?
I'm largely vegan.
Yeah.
I'm vegetarian.
Right. Okay.
I was vegetarian 20 years ago. And interestingly, I've had a daughter who was vegetarian for 7 years. And now my eldest son he's been vegan for a year. And I've just started to return to a more plant-based diet. Not that I eat a lot of meat anyway, but through some very significant times of my life, I was vegetarian, and I survived and sustained it quite well.
Right. Yeah. So I would suggest maybe start small, like they have this vegetarian Monday, or maybe start with 1 week and see how you feel, and then gradually add on. Well, for me, I actually did not turn complete vegetarian until for some reason, I was very determined to go to India when I started to visit our spiritual headquarters, and one of the conditions was that we have to follow our principles. and because I was very keen to go, and I was told by Dr. Nirmala, who looks after the whole of Australasia. She said, "Okay, you need to follow the principles for 6 months." So I actually counted my days backwards, and 6 months before my trip, then I just became a full vegetarian, and and then I never turned back. So if you, some people may be concerned about protein level and all that, because these days there are also lots of information on the internet about a plant-based diet that gives us full protein. Yeah, and so many alternatives as well, or the vegan version. But there are a few things that I would like to point out too, and that is we also don't eat onion and garlic because they are items that would help actually stimulate the mind. And our aim is to quieten down the mind. So that would be, defeating our aim. And also, we don't eat eggs. Yeah. So these are the little things that, if you'd like to, go further down the track. But one thing is also the way that we cook. And by the way, most of the time, as much as possible, we cook our own meals. And the main reason is that it's more the consciousness in our cooking. Like, I would never cook with the TV on anymore. Yeah, just when we are cooking, we cook with that consciousness that we're cooking. Actually, we're cooking for God. And before we eat our meals, we usually offer our food to Baba as well. So we just take a small portion of whatever is being cooked, and then we sit in front of Baba, and then seeing ourselves going to the subtle world and offer that food. And amazingly, offering food, there's it's kind of like a purification process. And also like sharing that food with the world as well, because there's a lot of people who are very hungry, in the world. Mm. And before we eat the food, we also give drishti to the food. So like when we meet each other, when we say Om Shanti, which is our greeting, then we also give drishti to others. And drishti is that spiritual vision that I see others as, Om Shanti, as that beautiful soul. And to give drishti to the food is also sending light to the food, and it's very powerful. And sending light to the water that we drink. I think you may be aware of the experiments about the consciousness of how we treat water. Whether we say, I love you to the water, I hate you to the water, those water crystals actually respond. So when we drink water, when we give drishti to that water, seeing light, in giving light to the water, and when we drink that, is also very beneficial. So, and if you have been to the center and if you have been served food here, you may have noticed that when you're being served with the meal, whoever serves you also gives you drishti. So it's just our practice. Yeah, and it's a very beautiful practice. Instead of saying thank you, we usually give drishti. And another pillar is the study. So, yeah, so the Murli, which is kind of like our bread and butter. And last time we talked about, the Sakya Murlis and the Atma Murlis. And loving relationships So I think Sue mentioned about the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat others, maintaining that loving relationships with everyone. First of all, with the self. And yeah, on Sunday the Murli, part of the Murli was on contentment. How when we are content, then it's a sign that we actually, the love that we have for ourselves, and when we are content, then we naturally get love from others as well. Yeah. So, and also having that pure relationship. Yeah. So, of course, there are going to be one or two of those people that sometimes are a little bit tricky. Either it could be at work or in the family. So, and they would be especially those that we need to serve. So instead of seeing them as an obstacle, how do I serve them? So I remember when in my last job, my business manager, she was an obstacle for me for a while, and then I started to learn about Raja Yoga, and then I started to send her light, and then things changed. Yeah. So sending light to others is also sending good wishes, sending light, sending love to others. Um, is a very, very good way to ease that obstacle. So not really seeing them as obstacles, but seeing how I could serve them. And then we have what we call the four subjects. So knowledge, our daily study of the Murli, and then yoga. So and so with knowledge and yoga, like they are interconnected. Knowledge helps me, like um, knowing myself and knowing Baba, this knowledge, helps me with my yoga, with my remembrance. And then, and so that's why they're interrelated. And the more I remember Baba, the intellect gets clearer and we're able to retain, the knowledge more. Because otherwise, as soon as I leave the Murli, then I could not remember one point of the Murli. It could be so slippery. Actually, one time, when we were in our spiritual headquarters in India, in Mount Abu, one newbie came. She asked Daddy Prakashmani, who was the administrative head at that time. Obviously, he was a very smart person, like very intellectual. And he said, Boko, when I read a book, I can remember everything, but I can never remember a Murli point. So, and Daddy's answer to him was, just before attending Murli, have some meditation so that we prepare ourselves in a soul conscious way, and in that way, then we're able to retain that knowledge. And the more pure thoughts we have, the more elevated thoughts we have for the self and for others, that would also help me to retain the knowledge, because Baba is subtle, the soul is subtle, and knowledge, retaining that knowledge is also subtle as well. And the third one of the four subjects, dana. Dana means inculcation of knowledge. That means how do I apply it? How do I live that knowledge? So in a way, it's like how the way that I live, how am I reflecting that? So like, am I being loving to the self? Am I being loving to others? What's my relationship with myself and others? All that's dharma. That's how I apply the knowledge to my. Am I living the knowledge? And the last of the four subjects is service. So there are different ways to do service. So sharing this knowledge is one way of service. And sometimes when we come to the center, also like there are some decades or more experience, and they're very keen to like share their experience with newcomers, share share knowledge or share their experience. So that's one way of service. Another way of service is physical service. So helping in the center. Because we run retreats, so every weekend we have some brothers and sisters coming all the way from Sydney to come, and they are what we call karma yogis. So they provide physical service, but the aim really is of mutual benefit, because of course they're helping us, because we couldn't do this just by ourselves, the few of the residents here. So we need help from others, but the benefit that they get is when they are providing service, they are actually having yoga. Karma yoga means having yoga while in action. So, and that's why that's the benefit of providing service, because while we are providing service, we're in connection with Baba. So even as we are sharing knowledge, now we could do that while in connection with Baba as well. And one more type of service is, okay, I don't have time to go to the centers to provide physical service, and there's no opportunity at the moment for me to share knowledge, say for example, but everyone would have time to do service through the mind. So service through the mind is sending good wishes to the world, which is very much needed. So we have every third Sunday of the month, we have World Meditation Hour. And it's very, very powerful exercise, because all the centers in the world, and it's usually in the evening, 6:30 to 7:30 in the evening, because that's usually our evening hour of meditation. So all the centers in the world for that particular hour would be sending light to the world, like seeing ourselves as lighthouses and lighthouses, and sending light to the world. So it's a particularly powerful exercise, because it's like a relay with all the centers in the world, doing it from morning to evening, 24 hours. So it's very, very beneficial. But what I would suggest is, yes, that World Meditation Hour, we keep on doing it, but actually it would be beneficial to dedicate at least 10% or 20% of our daily meditation time to send light to the world. It's just so that we help, because there are so many that we need to help. Of course, we help ourselves, the self, but also there's just too much sorrow in the world, that as much as we can do, that would be beneficial to others. So have you got any question or any comments so far? Okay, so what we have done so far is we have completed the Raja Yoga course, like the introductory course and intermediate course. And so if you would like to progress further, because what we do is, I think by now you know that Raja Yoga is more than just, spending some time meditating. It's more, it's actually a lifelong process of self-transformation, and also helping the world to transform. And we are so lucky in a way because we have the fortune of having this knowledge. And but this is only this is only the beginning, really, because like, and it's interesting because for all of us um, who are either one day in this knowledge or the daddies who have been meditating for over 80 years, so we all study together. Every day we study the same spiritual class, the same worthy class each day. And it's really amazing how the Murli could help us progress further. And so it's a suggestion for those who are interested, um, because the Murli, it has its own lingo, and also lots of references, especially from the Saka Murlis, Mondays to Saturdays. It requires a little bit of explanation at the beginning, so that you can see the full picture of what's really happening, and lots of references to perhaps Indian practices, and some reference to Hindu mythology and all that. So I would suggest, if you're interested in studying the Murli, so usually our Murli class is 6 o'clock meditation and 6:30 class. And we usually just listen to that. It's read straight, 3 pages. So it takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to listen to that class. But like as a transition, because first thing is quite early in the morning, and it's a long, really 3 pages to start. So what we are now doing is we are starting small groups. So we'll start at like 9 a.m. in the morning, and so we'll go through the Murli. Like we'll read 1 page, and then gradually we'll reach 1.5 pages, 2 pages. Because by the time you get used to the vocabulary, the lingo, then it's more than a matter of getting used to the flow of the Murli. So we could start a small group, and so what I'll do is I'll send a link to you. We'll probably be using the same link as what we have been using. So I just wonder, maybe if you could show whether you'll be interested in getting onto the 9 o'clock Murli.
I work at 9. I can't.
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to with work.
Okay.
May I was participating in the 9 o'clock Murli with Sally and Jessica
Yeah.
for a few weeks, which was just wonderful to go slowly and have much of the language explained, and for me to ask questions, and then I flipped to the earlier Murli. So, and that is better because, I was juggling a little bit of work at 9 as well. So.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah. And I think Sue is already on Murli as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So Melissa, would you be interested?
No, I'm unavailable at that time.
Right. Okay. So no problem. What we could do is, I think maybe on the weekend, if you are free on the weekend, then because Sally and Jessica, they are doing the 9 a.m. group every day anyway. So perhaps you could join that group, and then because they're also going rather slowly. So perhaps we'll send the link for that group, and then whenever you have time, then you can join, because that's on a daily basis. But if you have work during the week, then maybe on the weekend you can join that group. Yeah. All right. Okay. So Sally is here now, and so would you like to come and say congratulations to the group, Sally?
So, very big congratulations. It's a wonderful thing to complete the course, and you won't look back. It's something that'll be with you forever. And different times you'll remember different things, and I'm sure it'll be a big thing in your life. And I'd like to thank May very much for the beautiful way she facilitates. And I'd like to thank Sriram for the beautiful way he does all the IT for us. And we hope to see you again soon. You're welcome to come here anytime you want. Just give us a ring and let us know you'd like to come. And you'd be most welcome. So we have some blessings for you. Yes. Yes. Would someone like, or would you all like to share something that was particularly meaningful for you that you'd like to put into your life? So if you say the names.
Heidi?
Heidi?
I think definitely the whole lot was really good, but just making myself check on my thoughts and thinking about being more positive about the way I think about myself and the world will really stick with me.
Excellent. Yes.
And thank you very much for the course. It was really great.
Thank you, May.
And how about Sue?
Sure. I think what I'm going to add is do the evening routine and really, not just check on the day, but also connect to Baba before I go to bed. So that's definitely something I'll introduce. And I'd like to thank both of you and everybody at the centre there for a beautiful course. It's been really, really valuable. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Brooke?
Hi everyone. I agree. I think I like the waking up and saying good morning to Baba and I don't do it before bed, but yeah, I should. But yeah, I definitely like waking up like that, and I like that like kind of constant reminder. It's just the right way to start the day.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. And Melinda?
Thank you, May, and hello, Sally.
Hello.
Sister Sally. Look, it's just been really beautiful to get to know you, May, a little bit more, and with your teaching and facilitation, and to be a part of a group, which I really enjoy. And I find that the course has been a great complement to the Merli, to the programs I've come up to the centre and the time at the centre, and also the online YouTubes. Collectively, it's just a wonderfully rich, generous, flexible way to really engage and continue to engage, and most importantly, to get to know everybody so much more. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. And
I'm reappearing. And Melissa?
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I found this course to be really, really interesting, and I'm really happy that I did it after doing the introductory one because I feel like this answered a lot of the questions that I had. And I was really interested by the cycle from the golden age to where we are now in the iron age. But I think that my biggest takeaway is letting negative thoughts go by. Like we can think them, but we don't have to hold on to them. And speaking kindly to everything, but especially ourselves with the power of our thoughts. and reminding myself to just be kind and set positive intentions.
So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So I just have another thought because I know some of you, because of your work, that 9 o'clock is not a suitable time. I just feel that maybe I don't know about the transition, but yeah, I'll be in touch about some other alternatives. Yeah. So, but meanwhile, have you got any question that you'd like to ask Sally? She is the wealth of wisdom here.
Sally, maybe you could share with us maybe how do you go about your meditation and how do you have yoga?
Well, it varies very much, you know, like I just feel the Supreme, you know, Baba, I feel like he's with me all the time. And just if I have anything to ask, I'll ask it internally, you know, or anything I want to talk about with him, I feel, you know, that there's that connection, connection, very strong connection. And also, if anyone's ill or if anyone's going through a difficult time, I'll sit with the Supreme Soul and just really send the good wishes to that person. So we call that Sakash, and it's like sending the good wishes. It might be to a country sometimes if there's earthquakes or something, tsunami or something happening. So the Supreme Soul is so adaptable that he will go anywhere and do anything if we ask with a true heart. And the other thing is I do write to Baba at night, and I write points that I've remembered from the Murli, and I revise the day's Murli. And then I go to bed. I used to go to bed writing good night, and someone said to me, you shouldn't say that. You should be with the Supreme Soul even in your dreams and in your sleep. So I don't put goodbye anymore. I just put lots of love. But it makes me feel that that soul is with me. And if I've done anything that I wish I hadn't have done, or said anything that I think was not such a good thing, I will send good wishes to that person and ask for forgiveness, ask for, you know, understanding, wisdom to put that right. I don't like to have anything not going well with anyone. So, like that. Yeah, it's wonderful to have that companion, you know, and there's a saying, good company takes your boat across. And so it's like the Supreme Soul is the best company, and he will look after all of us. And he's very proud of all of you and of May. So it's a big thing to finish the course. And often when we used to have courses in what do you call it, real life, sort of, you know, like with the people in the centre, not everyone would last till the end like you have. It's a special course, and it's not for the people who haven't got that love for God, really. And it's a credit to you that in this world where there's so much pushing you towards material things, that you've chosen this path of spirituality. So when we say congratulations, we really, really mean it. It's a very good thing and a very brave and courageous thing. And in the Murli, Baba often says it takes courage to follow this path, because when the world says no, he says yes, and when the world says yes, he says no. So it's a very big thing, and great congratulations. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Sally. And now, we have this tradition of presenting a blessing to each one. So I will pass the blessing to Sally, and she will read that for each one of you. So this one is for Heidi.
Heidi, your positive thoughts provide pure energy to everyone around you. Your positive thoughts provide pure energy to everyone around you. Beautiful.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. So if you put these blessings, put your blessing somewhere where you'll see it every day. It could be in the car or in your bag or on the fridge or anywhere, somewhere where every day you'll see it.
And we will send this to each one of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Then because they are so accurate as well.
They're always accurate, yes. Never take it to mean that the Supreme Soul is saying to you, this is how you should be. It's not. It's saying this is how you are. And we have to learn to see ourselves and each other how Baba sees us. And that's how Baba sees Heidi. And who's this one?
It's for Sue.
Sue, the sparkle on your face reflects your original virtues of purity, peace, and happiness. The sparkle on your face reflects your original virtues of purity, peace, and happiness. Beautiful.
That beautiful peacock.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And this one is for Brooke.
Brooke, you respect every person with the understanding that each one is unique and has amazing qualities and talents. You respect every person with the understanding that each one is unique and has amazing qualities and talents. So if everyone followed that, there'd be no wars in the world, there'd be no conflicts. So beautiful.
That's right. In fact, I thought that exact thought last night as I walked into a meeting with a difficult person.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This person is special. She's a mother, she's a sister, she's special, and I will respect her and her amazing qualities.
Beautiful.
And this one is for Melissa.
Melissa, your heart is unlimited in its capacity to forgive and create space for others. Your heart is unlimited in its capacity to forgive and create space for others. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really nice.
Good. We will send it to you.
And this one is for Melinda.
Melinda, you plant the right seeds. You make the right effort. And then you let things be. You know that the fruit will be received at the right time. Beautiful. You plant the right seeds, make the right effort, and then let things be. You know the fruit will be received at the right time. So it's beautiful to do things that we know are right and trust that at the right time we'll get the return. Because we know the law of karma. What we give comes back. Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And yes, that's a very hard lesson, but one to always remember of being patient as well.
Yes, and trust.
And trusting, absolutely. Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you, Sally and May. That's lovely. And Sri Ram, I know you can
beautiful
hear me.
rose, beautiful fragrant rose there.
My favourite.
And I think there's one for Mandy. Mandy isn't here today, but she has been. So will we send one to her?
Yeah. You live in balance between the head and the heart by filling your feelings with wisdom and your decisions with love. You live in balance between the head and the heart by filling your feelings with wisdom and your decisions with love. And a little lotus flower, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's Mandy's psych nurse, and she often has different
Evening
times when
duties.
she's on duty.
Yeah. And Mandy is Sally's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sally. And I think just before we finish, because Moni is here and there's a program on Thursday morning.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
10 o'clock on Thursday morning is one of our senior teachers, and she's been meditating for over 40 years. And she's giving a class or talk on going beyond. And so you can take it to mean any difficulty that, or you know, that you have to go through, going beyond that. And it's really being soul conscious, but it's like not on a material level. And she's very good. I think you've probably heard some of her talks before. So you can watch it at 10 o'clock if you're free. And if not, you can watch it. It'll be on YouTube. So you can watch it at any time you like. But she said, I feel like taking them more, a little bit deeper. So it'll be a very good thing to add after this, to watch and to listen to morning.
Okay, so yeah, just
Will they get a link to that? Or?
yeah, we will be sending a mail out to the mailing list, and for all of you, because some of you're already on the mailing list. Otherwise, you would not have got onto this course. So yeah, we will be sending the list out, the email out probably in the morning, tomorrow morning. But we will also be sending, the links to Merly to you tomorrow or day after. Yeah. So just another big congratulations to you, and just a reminder. In a way, this is like the beginning of the journey of the spiritual path, and so stay in touch, because we're all in the same boat. We're all doing this together. We're all doing this self transformation, and when we change, the world changes. And then we'll go together into the golden age together.
Hooray!
So, yeah.
And also we were talking today maybe to have a retreat we will have a retreat for people who've done the course and want to go a bit deeper. We will have a retreat.
Yeah. So we'll be in touch. Yeah. Okay. So all the best, and we'll see you later, one way or another. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shanti.
Yeah.
Bye-bye,
Thank
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.